Chapter 1. The Perfect Operation. The man was already dead. Not officially, not yet. But in every way that mattered, Marcus Webb had ceased to exist the moment he accepted the assignment. He just did not know it yet. That is the part they never put in the briefing documents. Langley, Virginia, September 14th, 2007, 6:47 in the morning. Webb was 34 years old and had not slept in 31 hours. He was sitting in a gray chair in a gray room on the third floor of a building that did not appear on any public map, drinking coffee that had gone cold sometime around 4 in the morning, reading a file that had no cover page and no author and no classification stamp, because documents at this level did not need stamps. Everyone who was allowed to read them already knew what they contained. The file was thin. 11 pages, a photograph, a name, Khalid Amara, 41 years old, Algerian national, resident of Lyon, France for the past 6 years, owner of a small import business dealing in textiles and ceramics, married, 2 daughters, 8 and 11 years old, attended Friday prayers at a mosque in the 3rd arrondissement, paid his taxes, had a parking ticket from 2005 that he never resolved, and according to 3 separate intelligence assessments from 2 different agencies, the operational coordinator behind a planned attack on American infrastructure that was scheduled to occur within 90 days. Webb read the file 3 times. Then he looked at the photograph. Amara was a compact man with dark eyes and a careful expression. The photograph had been taken from a distance through a long lens on what appeared to be an ordinary street on an ordinary afternoon. He was carrying a paper bag, groceries probably. He was looking at something off to the left of the frame, slightly squinting against the sun. He looked like a man thinking about what to make for dinner. Webb set the photograph down and rubbed his eyes. He always rubbed his eyes when he was thinking. Habitual gesture from childhood, his mother had called it, drove his ex-wife crazy during their marriage. The door opened behind him, and a man named Gerald Coulson walked in. Coulson was 52, deputy director of the Special Activities Division, and he had the kind of face that had learned long ago to reveal nothing. He sat down across from Webb, poured himself coffee from the carafe on the table, and looked at the open file without touching it. "Questions," Coulson said. 3 agencies or 2? 2 American, 1 Allied. Which Allied? French DGSE. Webb nodded slowly, still rubbing his eyes. The French assessed him as operational. They assessed him as a facilitator with operational connections. We assessed him as operational. The distinction is minor given the timeline. The distinction is significant given what you are asking me to do. Coulson looked at him without expression. That is why we are having this conversation instead of just sending you the order. Webb dropped his hand from his eyes and looked back at the photograph. Why not rendition? Why not surveillance and interdiction? If he is in France, the French could. The French assessment is 6 weeks old. The timeline is 90 days. We do not have the luxury of watching and waiting and hoping the French decide to act before the window closes. And if they find out we operated on their soil without notification, then that will be a diplomatic problem. Diplomatic problems can be managed. A successful attack on American infrastructure cannot be walked back. Webb processed that. The family. Coulson did not blink. The family has no operational involvement. They will be protected from the details. That is not what I'm asking. I know what you are asking. The answer is that they are not your concern. Your concern is the target, the timeline, and the extraction. Webb looked at the photograph one more time. The paper bag, the squint against the sun. The look of a man thinking about dinner. Then he closed the file. What is the authorization level? Highest. In writing? Coulson reached into his jacket and pulled out a single folded sheet of paper. He placed it on the table and slid it across. Webb unfolded it and read it carefully. It was short, 4 sentences, a reference number, 2 signatures he recognized and 1 he did not. He folded it back up and slid it across the table. I want a copy. You know that is not possible. Then I want 48 hours to review the source assessments independently. Coulson studied him. You have 24, Webb nodded. Coulson stood up and walked to the door. Then he stopped without turning around. Marcus, this man has blood on his hands that has not been made visible yet. The intelligence is solid. The authorization is real. You are not being asked to do something wrong. You're being asked to do something hard. He opened the door and left. Webb remained in the chair, looking at the closed file. Then he pulled it back toward him and opened it again. 22 hours later, his eyes felt like they were full of sand, not just the Amara file. Everything connected to it, the source assessments, the raw intelligence reports, the intercepts, the financial analysis, the network mapping. He read until the words started swimming and he had to get up and pace around the room just to stay awake. The picture that emerged was consistent. Amara had connections to 3 individuals who had confirmed operational histories. He had made 2 wire transfers in the past 18 months that could not be explained by his legitimate business activity. He had traveled to Istanbul and Beirut in the past year with no documented business purpose. And there was an intercept, partial and imperfect, but present, in which his name appeared in a conversation between 2 individuals who were already on the target list. It was not a confession. It was not proof beyond reasonable doubt. But in the world Webb worked in, reasonable doubt was a luxury they could not afford. He closed the last file at 4 a.m. and sat in the dark. The thing that stayed with him was not the wire transfers or the travel records or the intercept. It was the parking ticket. The unresolved parking ticket from 2005, 2 years old, still unpaid, 35 euros, for parking in a handicapped space outside a pharmacy. It was such a small thing, such an ordinary human, slightly thoughtless thing. Operational coordinators did not leave parking tickets unresolved. Men who lived carefully constructed double lives did not accumulate minor civic infractions. They were too careful, too controlled. But Webb had seen careful men make careless mistakes. He had seen controlled men have moments of ordinary human distraction. The parking ticket meant nothing. He knew that. Still. At 6 a.m, he called Coulson's direct line. "I am in," he said. Lyon was gray and wet in late September. Webb spent 2 weeks there under a Canadian identity, an import consultant named David Hurst, in France to meet with suppliers about ceramic tiles and textiles. The cover was solid, constructed over months with a history deep enough to survive anything short of a full background investigation. He mapped Amara's routine in the first 4 days. The man was indeed methodical. Arrived at his office on the Rue de la République at 8:45 every morning. Took lunch at a small restaurant 2 blocks away. Always the same table by the window, always alone, always reading Le Figaro while he ate. left the office at 6:30, stopped at a market on the way home 3 times a week, attended Friday prayers, picked his daughters up from school on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Webb documented all of it, timed it, photographed it, built a map of Amara's life that was more detailed than anything in the file Coulson had given him. And the more detailed the map became, the more ordinary it looked. Not suspicious, not careful, not the behavior of a man living a double life, just routine, slightly boring, thoroughly predictable, lunch at the same table, groceries 3 times a week, daughters who needed to be picked up from school. Webb filed his surveillance reports without commentary. Because what was he going to write? That Amara seemed too normal? That was not intelligence, that was a feeling. And feelings were not actionable data. On the 12th day, he identified the window. Saturday mornings. Amara ran, alone. The same route through Parc de la Tête d'Or, starting at 7:15, lasting approximately 45 minutes. No phone, no contact with anyone. Just a man, his thoughts in the early morning park. Clean window, clean methodology, clean extraction route. Webb sent the operational proposal to Langley. Langley approved it in 6 hours. September 29th dawned cold and clear. Webb was in position at 6:55. He had been there since 6:30, running his own route through the park to establish presence, to look like he belonged. His heart rate was steady, his breathing was controlled, everything was controlled. At 7:18, Amara entered the park, gray running jacket, dark pants, white trainers that looked new. He had earphones in. He was moving at a steady, unhurried pace, the pace of a man who ran for the pleasure of it rather than the achievement. Webb fell into pace 40 meters behind him. They ran like that for 11 minutes, through tree-lined paths, past early dog walkers and the occasional cyclist, through cool morning air that smelled of wet leaves and turned earth. The kind of morning that made you grateful to be alive. At 7:29, on a section of path that curved away from the main route and was briefly obscured by a dense line of trees, Webb closed the distance. Amara must have heard something or felt something. Because in the moment before Webb reached him, Amara pulled one earphone out and turned his head slightly to the left, as if trying to catch a sound he could not quite identify. Webb saw the side of his face, the slight furrow between his eyebrows, the beginning of a question forming on his lips. Then there was no more time. What happened in the next 18 seconds was precise and professional and irreversible. Webb had done this before. He knew the mechanics. He knew the pressure points and the angles and the way a human body stops resisting when certain thresholds are crossed. What he did not know, until that moment, was what it sounded like when a man who does not understand what is happening tries to say a word and cannot finish it. The word sounded like a name. Short. 2 syllables. It could have been the name of a daughter or a wife or God or nothing at all. Just the sound a dying man makes when his brain is trying to call for help that will never come. Webb held him until the struggling stopped, until the body went slack and heavy, until there was nothing left but weight and silence. Then he lowered Amara to the ground behind a line of bushes, checked his pulse to confirm what he already knew, and stepped back onto the path. He did not look back. He continued running. Exited the park at the north gate at 7:32, walked 3 blocks to a rented car, drove to a parking structure near the train station, changed his jacket and shoes, was on a train to Paris by 8:15, He was in a safe house in the 14th arrondissement by noon. The shower water was too hot, but he left it that way. 20 minutes under scalding water, hands pressed against the tile wall, letting the heat wash over him, trying not to think about the sound Amara had made, the two-syllable sound that might have been a name. When he finally turned off the water, his skin was red and his hands were trembling. He dried off, got dressed. Walked into the small kitchen and stood in front of the open refrigerator, staring at its contents without really seeing them. Bread, cheese, a bottle of water. He took the water and drank half of it, then realized he could not remember drinking it. He walked to the small table and sat down, pulled out his phone. He needed to file the operational confirmation report. 4 sentences: target neutralized, timeline achieved, extraction clean, no complications. He opened the encrypted app and stared at the blank message field. His hands were still shaking. He set the phone down and walked to the window. Outside, the street was full of people going about their Saturday afternoon. Woman with a dog, man on a bicycle, 2 teenagers laughing about something. Life continuing with complete indifference to what had just happened 6 kilometers away. Webb stood at the window, watching them. Then he picked up his phone and typed the 4 sentences, sent the report, set the phone back down. He walked to the bedroom and lay down fully clothed, staring at the ceiling. Somewhere in Lyon, a man's body was being discovered. Somewhere, police were being called. Somewhere, a wife and 2 daughters were about to receive news that would rewrite the rest of their lives. And Webb was lying on a bed in Paris, staring at the ceiling, unable to remember whether he had eaten lunch. The 2-syllable sound stayed with him. 2 days later, he turned on the television. The story was brief, 30 seconds, a voiceover and a single image. A man found dead in Parc de la Tête d'Or. Khalid Amara, 41, a local businessman. Police were investigating but had not yet determined the cause of death. Foul play was suspected, and then the image changed. A house, modest, unremarkable, and standing in front of it, illuminated by the camera lights, were 3 people. A woman in her late 30s, dark hair pulled back, eyes red and swollen, and on either side of her, 2 girls, one small and delicate. One taller and trying to look brave, both of them staring at the camera with expressions that had not yet processed what had happened. 8 and 11 years old. The woman was saying something, but Webb could not hear it over the sound of his own pulse. He could only see her mouth moving, and the 2 girls standing beside her, and the way the older one had her arm around her sister's shoulders. The news moved on to the next story. Something about a traffic accident. Webb stared at the dark screen. Then he walked to the bathroom and threw up. He flew back to Washington 3 days later under a different identity, was debriefed for 4 hours, filed his full operational report, underwent the standard psychological evaluation with a staff psychologist who asked questions Webb had answered so many times he could have given them in his sleep. Any concerns about the operation? No. Any intrusive thoughts or difficulty sleeping? No. Any feelings of moral conflict regarding the target? No. The psychologist made a note and nodded. Webb was cleared, commended internally, given 2 weeks of administrative leave. He spent most of it at his apartment in Alexandria, running along the river in the mornings, reading in the afternoons, sleeping badly at night. The parking ticket stayed with him, not rationally. He had reviewed the intelligence, he had read the assessments, He had satisfied himself that the authorization was legitimate and the target was real. But the parking ticket would not leave him alone. On the 11th day of his leave, he did something he had never done before. He went back into the system and pulled the original source assessments for the Amara file. Not the summaries he had been given, the raw originals. It took him 3 hours to find what he was looking for, or rather, to find what was not there. The French DGSE assessment that Coulson had described as independently corroborating the American intelligence was not, in the original documents, an assessment of Amara at all. It was an assessment of one of Amara's associates, a man named Farid Ben Sayed. The DGSE had assessed Ben Sayed as an operational facilitator. Amara's name appeared in that assessment once in a single sentence as a known associate of Ben Sayed's with no further elaboration. That was the French corroboration. Not an independent assessment of Amara as a threat, a single mention of his name in an assessment of someone else. Webb stared at the screen. The two American assessments were both sourced to the same underlying intelligence report, not two independent assessments reaching the same conclusion. One report, summarized twice by two different analysts, presented as independent corroboration. One source, one report, presented as three independent assessments from two agencies. The intercept that mentioned Amara's name was from a conversation between Ben Sayed and an unknown third party. Amara was not part of the conversation. His name was mentioned once, in passing, in a context that was ambiguous at best. The wire transfers had been flagged as suspicious by a financial analyst who had noted in his original report that they were. And here, Webb read the exact words 3 times to make sure he was not misreading them. Consistent with, but not conclusive of illicit financial activity. Consistent with, not conclusive of. Webb scrolled further down the file, and then he found it. A document he had not seen before. A routine request from the Lyon field office to cross-reference Amara's travel dates with known operational timelines for Ben Sayed and his network. The request had been filed 4 weeks before the operation. The response was buried 3 pages down. Subject Khalid Amara was hospitalized with his daughter on August 14, 2007 for treatment of a severe asthma attack. Hospital admission records confirm presence from 11 p.m. August 13th through 9 a.m. August 15th. Webb stopped reading. August 14th, he opened another file. The timeline assessment for Ben Sayed, the meeting between Ben Sayed and an unknown associate that had been cited as evidence of Amara's operational involvement. The meeting had occurred on August 14th. In Istanbul. Amara had been in a hospital in Lyon with his daughter. He had an alibi, and no one had checked it. Webb closed the laptop and walked to the kitchen sink. Turned the water on cold. Let it run over his hands until they went numb. Khalid Amara had 2 daughters, 8 and 11 years old. One of them had an asthma attack severe enough to require hospitalization. He had been with her all night, while somewhere in a file in Langley, an analyst was writing an assessment that would end his life. Webb turned off the water. He walked back to his desk and opened the laptop. He pulled up a news archive and searched for Khalid Amara. The articles were brief, most of them in French. He translated them slowly, using the rusty language skills from his college years. One article had been published 4 days after the death. It included a statement from the family. Amara is survived by his wife, Nadia, and 2 daughters, Layla, 8, and Amina, 11. The family has stated that they have no explanation for his death and are requesting that authorities investigate the possibility of foul play. Friends and colleagues have described Amara as a peaceful man devoted to his family and business. His wife stated, "He was supposed to help Amina study for her exam on Sunday. He never missed a promise to his daughters." Webb read the last sentence 3 times. He never missed a promise to his daughters. He closed the laptop and sat in the dark. He did not know yet what he was going to do, but he knew he could not do nothing. 10 days later, Webb still had not returned to work. "Marcus," his supervisor's voice on the phone was patient but strained. "I need you to tell me what's going on." Webb was sitting on the edge of his unmade bed in his Arlington apartment, looking at the wall where his ex-wife used to hang a mirror. The mirror was gone, but he could still see its outline in the faded paint. "I need a few more days. You have been cleared by psych. You've been cleared by medical. You filed a clean operational report. There is no administrative reason for extended leave." "I understand." "Then help me understand what this is about." Long pause. Webb picked at a loose thread on his bedsheet. "I'm just tired." His supervisor sighed, the kind of sigh that carried 10 years of bureaucratic frustration. "All right, take the rest of the week. But Marcus, if this is something more than fatigue, you need to tell me now. If it becomes a problem later, I cannot protect you." "I know." "Okay, I will see you Monday." The line went dead. Webb set the phone down and kept picking at the thread until it came loose. Then he wound it around his finger until the tip went white. He was not going back Monday. He knew that much. Everything else was still a question mark. Thursday afternoon, Silver Spring Public Library. Webb sat at a public computer in the back corner, surrounded by teenagers doing homework and homeless people using the free internet. Anonymous. Just another person looking things up online. He logged into an encrypted email account he had set up years ago and never used. Ghost address for a ghost version of himself. He opened a blank message and stared at the cursor blinking on the screen. Typed, "I need to know if anyone else has questioned the Amara assessment. Deleted it." Typed, "I have information that suggests an operational error in a recent assignment. Deleted that too." Sat there for 20 minutes, hands hovering over the keyboard like a pianist who had forgotten how to play. Finally, he closed the browser, cleared the cache, and left. 3 more days of trying to convince himself to let it go, running along the Potomac until his lungs burned, sitting in his apartment reading books without retaining a word, cooking meals he did not eat, standing in the shower until the hot water ran out, and every night when he closed his eyes, he heard the 2-syllable sound Khalid Amara had made in the moment before he died. On Sunday evening, he made a decision. Not going through official channels. Official channels were the reason Khalid Amara was dead. Time to talk to the one person who could have stopped it. Gerald Coulson. Coulson's Georgetown townhouse looked like money trying not to look like money. Tasteful, understated. The kind of place where people discussed important matters over expensive wine. Webb parked 2 blocks away and walked. Late afternoon, October light slanting through the trees. Quiet neighborhood, the kind of quiet you paid for. He stood outside the townhouse, finger hovering over the doorbell, for almost 5 minutes. Then he pressed it. Coulson answered wearing weekend clothes, jeans and a sweater that probably cost more than Webb's monthly rent. He had reading glasses perched on his head and a copy of The Economist folded under his arm. He looked at Webb without surprise. "Marcus, I need to talk to you." Coulson glanced past him into the street, scanning automatically the way intelligence officers always did. "Come in." The interior screamed interior decorator. Clean lines, expensive but impersonal. The kind of home that looked like it belonged in a magazine about people who had arrived. Coulson led him into a study and closed the door, gestured to a chair, but Webb remained standing, too wired to sit. "You did not come back to work this week?" "No. Your supervisor is concerned." "I know." Coulson set down his magazine and crossed his arms. "So what is this about?" Webb took a breath and jumped. Khalid Amara had an alibi for August 14th. He was in a hospital in Lyon with his daughter. The meeting in Istanbul that we used as evidence of his operational involvement happened while he was sitting in a hospital room with an 8-year-old who could not breathe. Coulson's expression did not change. Poker face perfected over 20 years in the business. "Where did you get that information?" "From the original field reports, the ones that somehow did not make it into the assessment summary." "You accessed classified files related to a completed operation without authorization." "I accessed files I should have been given in the first place." Coulson walked to the window and looked out at his small, perfectly manicured garden, hands in his pockets, taking his time. When he finally spoke, his voice was calm, patient, the voice of a teacher explaining something to a slow student. "Marcus, do you know how intelligence actually works?" "I know how it is supposed to work." "No, I mean, do you really know? Not the theory, not the ideal. The messy, imperfect reality." Webb waited. Coulson turned back to face him. "We do not get certainty. We get fragments, pieces of conversations, financial transactions, travel records, associations. We take those fragments and we try to build a picture. And sometimes the picture is incomplete. Sometimes there are gaps. Sometimes there are details that do not fit perfectly. But we do not have the luxury of waiting for perfect information, because by the time we have perfect information, people are already dead. So we kill people based on incomplete pictures. We make decisions based on the best available intelligence within the constraints of operational timelines. That is not the same thing." He was in a hospital, Gerald. With his daughter. He was not in Istanbul. He was not at a meeting. He was holding his daughter's hand while she struggled to breathe, and we killed him anyway. Coulson's jaw tightened slightly. First crack in the facade. One alibi does not invalidate an entire assessment. Amara had documented connections to known operatives. He had financial irregularities. He had traveled to high-risk areas. The Istanbul meeting was one data point among many. It was the only data point that put him in direct operational contact. Everything else was circumstantial. Everything in this business is circumstantial. We do not get signed confessions, we get patterns. And the pattern was strong enough that 3 independent analysts reached the same conclusion. It was not 3 independent analysts. It was one report summarized 3 times. And the French assessment was not an assessment of Amara at all. It was a mention of his name in someone else's file. Coulson walked to his desk and sat down heavily. Took off his reading glasses and set them on the polished surface. Looked at Webb with an expression that was not anger, but something closer to exhaustion. What do you want me to say, Marcus? That we made a mistake? That the system failed? Fine. The system is not perfect. It never has been. But it is the system we have. And dismantling it because of one questionable call does not make anyone safer. It just makes us slower. And in this business, slower means more American civilians die in terrorist attacks. Khalid Amara died. Yes, he did. And maybe he should not have. But second-guessing operational decisions after the fact does not bring him back. It just paralyzes the people who have to make those decisions in the future. Webb stared at him. So that is it. We killed an innocent man, and the answer is to move on and hope we do better next time. Coulson stood up abruptly. The answer is to trust that the people making these decisions are doing the best they can with imperfect information in impossible situations. You were one of those people, Marcus. You read the file. You reviewed the intelligence. You signed off on the operation. You executed it. You do not get to walk away from that responsibility now just because you found a detail that makes you uncomfortable. A detail. Webb's voice was getting louder. You are calling his daughter's hospitalization a detail. I am calling it one piece of information in a larger assessment, an assessment that you agreed with. Because I was not given the full picture. You were given the same picture everyone else was given, the picture that existed at the time the decision was made. Webb felt something cold settle in his chest. Who wrote the assessment summary? Coulson's expression shifted. Just slightly. Just enough for Webb to know the question had hit something important. That is not relevant. Who wrote it, Gerald? It went through standard channels, multiple levels of review. It does not matter who the original author was. It matters if the original author left out information that contradicted the conclusion. Coulson walked to the door and opened it. This conversation is over. You are going home. You are going to take the weekend. And on Monday, you are going to come back to work and do your job. Because if you do not, I will have no choice but to flag you for a psychiatric evaluation. And if that happens, your career is over. Webb did not move. Is that a threat? It is a statement of fact. You are exhibiting signs of operational stress and moral injury. Those are clinical terms, Marcus. They have clinical responses. And one of those responses is removal from active duty pending psychiatric clearance. I am not the one who needs a psychiatric evaluation. Coulson's face hardened. Get out of my house. Webb looked at him. His name was Khalid Amara. He had 2 daughters, 8 and 11. One of them had asthma. He never missed a promise to them. And we killed him because someone did not bother to check a hospital record. Silence. Webb walked out. He sat in his car afterward, hands shaking again. Not from fear this time, from something else. Something that felt like the moment right before you make a choice you cannot unmake. He looked in the rearview mirror. A black sedan was parked 3 cars behind him, engine running, windows tinted dark, nobody getting out. Webb watched it. Then he started his car and pulled into traffic. The sedan pulled out behind him, right turn. The sedan followed, another right, then a left. The sedan stayed with him, maintaining careful distance, never getting close enough to be obvious, but never falling far enough back to lose him. Webb's pulse quickened. He drove for 10 more minutes, making random turns, testing. The sedan stayed with him the entire time. Finally, Webb pulled into a shopping center parking lot and parked near the back. He turned off the engine and sat motionless, watching the rearview mirror. The sedan drove past the entrance, slowed, then continued down the street and disappeared around a corner. Webb sat there for 20 minutes. The sedan did not return. Maybe it had been nothing, maybe coincidence, maybe paranoia, but his hands were still shaking when he reached for his phone. Then he stopped. If they were following him, they were monitoring him. Phone, email, everything. He turned off the phone, pulled the battery, and threw both pieces into the glove box, started the car, and drove. Motel 6, Rockville. Cash only. No questions asked. Webb parked behind the building where his car could not be seen from the road, walked into the lobby carrying nothing but his wallet. The clerk was a heavy man in his 50s, watching Judge Judy on a small television. He looked up when Webb approached. "Need a room?" One night, the clerk pulled out a registration card and slid it across the counter. $45. Webb filled out the card with a fake name and paid cash. The clerk took the money, counted it slowly, then looked at the card. He stared at it for a moment longer than necessary. Then he looked up at Webb. Just a moment. He stood up and walked into a back office. Webb heard the murmur of a voice, low, indistinct, could not make out words, but the tone was definitely conversational. Someone discussing something. His heart started hammering. The clerk returned a minute later, smiling. "Room 14, end of the row. Enjoy your stay." He handed Webb a key. Webb took it and walked out, every nerve ending on high alert. Room 14 was small and smelled like cigarettes and industrial disinfectant. Bed. Television bolted to the wall. Bathroom with a shower stall that had seen better days. Webb closed the door and locked it. Checked the phone on the nightstand, dial tone, checked the window, opened normally, checked the deadbolt, functional. Everything was normal. But something felt wrong. The clerk had made a phone call. He had talked to someone. And then he had come back and smiled. Webb sat on the edge of the bed listening for footsteps, listening for voices, listening for anything that did not belong. All he heard was the hum of the air conditioning and the occasional car passing on the road outside. But the feeling would not leave him. He did not sleep. Lay on the bed fully clothed, staring at the water-stained ceiling, listening to the sounds of the motel. Doors opening and closing, muffled television voices, the ice machine cycling on and off. Near dawn, he heard a car pull into the lot. He got up and peered through the curtain. A man in a dark suit was getting out of a sedan. Different sedan from yesterday, but same general type. The man walked to room 12, knocked, waited. Door opened. Man went inside. 5 minutes later, he came out, got back in the sedan, and left. Webb stood at the window, watching the empty parking lot. Maybe it meant nothing. Maybe just another guest's business meeting. But maybe not. He gathered his few things and walked to the front desk. The clerk was asleep in his chair, head tilted back, mouth open, snoring softly. Webb set the key on the counter and left without waking him. He spent the next day driving aimlessly. No destination, just movement. Trying to think. Trying to plan. By late afternoon, he knew what he had to do. Time to go outside the system. He pulled into a gas station in Silver Spring and used the payphone, fed coins into the slot and dialed a number he had memorized years ago but never called. Peter Lansing, former Inspector General's office, forced out in 2005 after writing a report on enhanced interrogation that the administration had not wanted published. Webb had met him once at a conference. 20 minutes of conversation about the gap between policy and practice. Lansing had given Webb his card, told him to call if he ever needed to talk to someone outside the system. Webb had kept the card for 3 years and never used it. Until now. The phone rang 4 times, then a cautious voice. "This is Lansing. Mr. Lansing, my name is Marcus Webb. We met in 2005. You told me to call if I ever needed to talk to someone outside the system." Pause. "I remember. What's going on?" "I think I just killed an innocent man, and I think the people who sent me to do it knew he was innocent." Longer pause. "Where are you right now?" "A gas station in Silver Spring." "Are you being followed?" Webb scanned the area. 2 cars at the pumps, woman walking a small dog across the street, nothing unusual that he could see. "I do not know. Maybe." "Then assume you are. Listen carefully. There's a diner in Bethesda called Morris's. You know it?" "Yes." "Meet me there in 2 hours. Sit in the back booth. Order coffee." "Do not talk to anyone. Do not use your phone. Understand?" "Yes." 2 hours in Marcus?" "Yeah." "If you think you are being followed, do not come. Just disappear. Because if they know you are talking to me, this conversation is already over." Line went dead. Webb hung up and stood at the payphone. 2 hours. He got back in his car and drove. Morris's Diner. 1950s, relics somehow still existing in a neighborhood that had been rebuilt around it 3 times. Red vinyl booths, black and white checkered floor, jukebox in the corner that had not worked since the Reagan administration. Webb arrived 15 minutes early, parked 2 blocks away, and walked, checking behind him every few steps. Saw nothing suspicious. No black sedans, no men in suits, just ordinary people living ordinary lives. Went inside and claimed the back booth facing the door, ordered coffee from a waitress who looked like she had been working there since the place opened. She brought it without comment and drifted away. Webb wrapped his hands around the cup and waited. Lansing arrived exactly 2 hours after the phone call. Older than Webb remembered. Mid-60s, gray hair, wire-rimmed glasses, leather jacket that had seen some miles. He did not sit down immediately, stood at the entrance and scanned the entire diner, every booth, every table, every face, then walked to the back and slid in across from Webb. "Did anyone follow you here?" "I do not think so." "You do not think so, or you are sure?" "I am sure." Lansing studied him. "You better be, because if they know you are talking to me, this is already over before it starts." He signaled the waitress for coffee, leaned back and looked at Webb with the kind of steady gaze that came from years of listening to people confess things they should not. "Tell me what happened." Webb told him, all of it, the file, the parking ticket, the 3 assessments that were really 1, the hospital record nobody had checked, the 2-syllable sound Amara made before he died, the news footage of the wife and daughters standing in front of their house, the confrontation with Coulson. When he finished, Lansing was quiet. "Do you have proof?" "I have the original field reports. I have the hospital records. I have the assessment summaries. I accessed all of it through my agency login." "Which means they know you accessed it." Webb nodded. "And the black sedan?" "Could have been nothing. Could have been paranoia." Lansing sipped his coffee. "Paranoia keeps people alive in this business. If you think you were followed, you were followed." He set down the cup. Marcus, you need to understand something. You just told me that you accessed classified files without authorization to second-guess a completed operation. You confronted your superior officer at his home, and now you are sitting here talking to me, a known critic of the agency. You know what that looks like from their perspective? It looks like I am trying to do the right thing. It looks like you are having a breakdown, and the institutional response to breakdown is not investigation, it is containment. Webb felt his stomach drop. What are you saying? Lansing leaned forward and lowered his voice. I am saying they are going to bury this story, and they are going to bury you. And once you are gone, the operation stays clean. The assessment stands. Khalid Amara remains a legitimate target, and no one has to ask uncomfortable questions about systemic failure. A car pulled up outside. Dark sedan. 2 men inside. Lansing saw them at the same time Webb did. We need to go. Now. They stood up and walked quickly toward the back exit. The men in the sedan were getting out of their car. This way. Lansing led him through the kitchen, past surprised staff, out the back door into an alley. His car was parked there. Get in. They drove for 10 minutes, Lansing checking mirrors constantly, making random turns. Finally, he pulled into a parking garage and stopped on the 3rd level. Okay, we're clear. He turned to Webb. Do you still want to do this? Yes. Lansing reached into his jacket and pulled out a business card. Her name is Sarah Caulfield, Washington Post, investigative reporter. She covered Abu Ghraib. She covered rendition. She does not scare easily, and she does not burn sources. Webb took the card. What do I tell her? You tell her the truth. But Marcus, listen to me. She is not going to just take your word for it. She is going to need proof, documents, corroboration, something she can verify independently. Can you get that? Webb thought about it. Maybe there are physical copies in the archive. If I can get into the building, I can access them without leaving a digital trail. Then that is what you need to do. But you need to be smart. You go in like nothing is wrong. You act normal. And when you have a window, you get the documents and you get out. Lansing put a hand on Webb's shoulder. And Marcus, once you do this, there is no going back. Do you understand? I understand. Okay, then call her. But not from any phone connected to your real identity. Use a pay phone, and when you are ready, move fast. Webb nodded. Lansing started the car. I will drop you 2 blocks from your car. After that, we do not have contact again, for both our sakes. They drove in silence. When Lansing stopped, Webb got out, then turned back. Thank you. Lansing looked at him with tired eyes. Do not thank me yet. You have no idea what you are walking into. Webb closed the door. Lansing drove away. Webb walked back to his car slowly, checking over his shoulder. Empty street. But the feeling of being watched would not leave him. He got in his car and sat there, holding the business card. Then he drove to another payphone. Different neighborhood, different gas station, dialed the number. Sarah Caulfield. Miss Caulfield, my name is Marcus Webb. I work for the CIA. And I need to tell you about a man we killed who should not be dead. Pause. What is your position at the agency? I am a field operative, Special Activities Division. And you are calling me why? Because I executed an operation based on fabricated intelligence, and the man I killed had an alibi that no one bothered to check. Longer pause. Do you have proof? I have access to the original files. Hospital records, assessment summaries, everything. Can you get them? Yes. How soon? I do not know. I need to get back into the building without raising suspicion. Silence. Mr. Webb, do you have any idea how many times someone from the intelligence community calls me with a story like this? No. A lot. And do you know how many of those stories turn out to be real? No. Almost none. Because most of the time, the person calling me is either lying, delusional, or trying to settle a personal grudge. So before I invest time in this, I need you to understand something. I do not work on faith. I work on evidence. If you bring me documents, I will verify them. If they check out, I will pursue the story. But if you are wasting my time, I will bury you faster than your own agency will. Webb felt his throat tighten. I am not wasting your time. Then prove it. Get me the documents. Get me something I can corroborate independently. And then we will talk. How do I reach you? You do not. I will reach you. Give me a number where I can find you. I will call you again in 48 hours from a payphone, same time. 48 hours. And Mr. Webb? Yes? If you are telling the truth, I will do everything I can to get this story out. But you need to understand what that means. Your career will be over. You will probably be prosecuted, and I cannot protect you from any of that. All I can do is make sure the truth gets told. I understand. Good. Then I will wait for your call. Line went dead. Webb hung up and stood at the payphone, staring at nothing. Then he walked back to his car and drove home. Time to go back to work, time to act like nothing had happened. Time to get the proof. Monday morning, 7:15 a.m. Webb drove to Langley, showered at a gym, shaved in a gas station bathroom, clean clothes, usual briefcase, the careful performance of a man who had spent the weekend resting and was ready to return to work. He badged in at the main entrance. Guard nodded the same way he always did. No red flags, no alerts, just Monday morning. Webb took the elevator to the 3rd floor and walked to his desk, conscious of every step, every breath, every movement that might look wrong to whoever was watching. And somebody was always watching. His supervisor saw him and walked over. Marcus, good to see you back. Thanks, feel much better. Good. Listen, we need to talk later today, just to check in, nothing formal, okay? Sure, supervisor nodded and walked away. Webb sat down at his desk, turned on his computer, logged in, checked email, responded to routine messages. He did everything he normally did on a Monday morning, and the entire time, his heart was hammering so hard he was sure people could hear it. At 10:30, he stood up, casual stretch, walked to the elevator, 4th floor, archive room, long, windowless space filled with rows of metal filing cabinets, physical copies of operational files too sensitive to exist only digitally. Access was restricted, but not unusual. Officers pulled files constantly for review, analysis, training. Webb badged into the room, soft click as the door unlocked. Inside, cool air and the smell of old paper and metal. Fluorescent lights humming overhead like trapped insects. He walked to the section labeled SAC Operations 2007. Found the drawer he needed. Pulled it open. The Amara file was there, thicker than the summary he'd been given. He pulled it out and carried it to one of the small desks in the corner. Opened it and started reading. Everything he had seen before was there. Assessment summaries, intercept transcripts, financial analysis, travel records, and then, near the back, something he had not seen before. A memo. Agency letterhead, dated 2 days before the operation authorization. Subject line, Amara assessment, discrepancy resolution. Webb's hand started shaking. He read it slowly. To Gerald Coulson, DD/SAC from Thomas Birch, Chief of Analysis, Amara assessment, discrepancy resolution. Gerald, per your request, I have reviewed the field report from Lyon regarding subject Khalid Amara's hospitalization on August 14th. The hospital admission records do confirm his presence in Lyon during the time frame of the Istanbul meeting cited in the operational assessment. However, I concur with your recommendation that this discrepancy does not invalidate the overall assessment. The subject's pattern of associations, financial irregularities, and travel history remain consistent with operational involvement. The Istanbul meeting, while no longer directly attributable to the subject, remains circumstantially relevant given his documented relationship with Farid Ben Said. I have instructed the assessment team to remove the Istanbul reference from the final summary to avoid confusion. The modified assessment will be forwarded to you by end of business today. The operation timeline remains achievable. Respectfully, Thomas Birch. Webb read it 3 times. They knew Amara had an alibi. They knew he was not at the Istanbul meeting. And instead of stopping the operation, they had simply removed the reference and proceeded anyway. This was not an oversight. This was not a mistake. This was murder. Webb looked around the archive room, empty, silent except for the fluorescent hum. He needed to copy this. He walked to the copy machine in the corner, placed the memo face down on the glass, pressed the button. Machine hummed to life. Light swept across the glass. First copy slid into the tray. Webb placed it face down and hit the button again. Machine hummed, then made a different sound. Grinding, mechanical, paper jam. Webb's stomach dropped. He pressed the release button. Nothing. Opened the side panel. Paper was wedged deep inside the mechanism, crumpled and torn. He tried to pull it out, would not move. Footsteps in the hallway outside. Webb froze. The footsteps stopped, right outside the door. Webb looked at the copy machine. Paper still jammed. Original memo still on the glass, and someone standing just outside. He grabbed the memo, pulled it off the glass, folded it quickly. Slipped it inside his jacket. Door opened. Woman walked in. Mid-40s, records management. She glanced at Webb without particular interest. Morning. Morning, Webb said, trying to sound casual. She walked to a filing cabinet on the far side of the room and started pulling a drawer. Webb stood at the copy machine, heart pounding, trying to look like he belonged. Then the lights went out. Complete darkness. The woman made a small sound of surprise. What the hell? Webb stood perfectly still. He could hear her moving in the dark. Footsteps, sound of a drawer closing, then a voice over the intercom. Calm, professional. Attention, the 4th floor is temporarily closed for maintenance. All personnel please exit immediately. Badge access has been suspended for safety reasons. The woman swore under her breath. Typical. Come on, let us get out of here before they lock us in. She walked toward where the door should be, using her phone's flashlight. Webb followed. She pushed the door. It opened. They stepped into the hallway. Lights still on out here. Normal. Bright. The woman shook her head. This place is falling apart. She walked toward the elevator. Webb stood in the hallway, staring back at the dark archive room. The lights had gone out the moment he found the memo. The moment he tried to copy it. That was not a coincidence. Somewhere, someone was watching. Someone had seen him pull the file, someone had seen him find the memo, and someone had cut the power to force him out before he could copy it. But they had not stopped him from taking the original, which meant either they did not know he had it, or they wanted him to have it. Webb turned and walked quickly toward the stairwell, took the stairs down 2 at a time, the memo pressed against his chest inside his jacket. He made it to the ground floor and pushed through the exit into the parking garage, halfway to his car when he heard the voice behind him. "Mr. Webb." He turned. 2 security officers, and behind them, Gerald Coulson. Coulson looked at Webb with an expression that was not anger. It was disappointment. "I was really hoping you would make a different choice." Silence. "Did you take anything from the archive room?" "No." "I'm going to ask you again. Did you take anything from the archive room?" Webb met his eyes. "No." Coulson nodded to one of the security officers. "Search him." The officer stepped forward. Webb took a step back. "Do not make this harder than it needs to be, Marcus." Officer grabbed Webb's arm. Webb tried to pull away. Second officer moved in, grabbed the other arm. They pushed him against the concrete pillar, face first. "Do not resist." First officer patted him down efficiently, found the folded memo inside Webb's jacket and pulled it out, handed it to Coulson. Coulson unfolded it and looked at it. "This is classified material. You removed it from a secure facility without authorization. That is a federal crime. That document proves you knew Amara was innocent. That document proves we made a reasonable judgment call based on the totality of available intelligence. The hospitalization was one data point among many. It did not invalidate the assessment. It proved he was not in Istanbul. The entire case was based on that meeting. The case was based on a pattern of behavior. The meeting was one element. You removed it from the summary so I would not know." Coulson's jaw tightened. "I removed it to avoid confusion. The assessment stood on its own merits." Coulson folded the memo and put it in his pocket. "You are being placed on administrative leave, effective immediately. You will surrender your credentials. You will not access any agency systems or facilities. You will not discuss this matter with anyone outside the agency. And you will await further instructions." He nodded to the security officers. "Escort him out." They walked Webb through the building in silence. People looked up from their desks as he passed. Some he knew, some he had worked with for years. None said anything. They took his badge, his building access card, his parking pass. Then they walked him to his car and watched him drive away. Webb drove 3 blocks, pulled over, sat with his hands on the steering wheel, breathing hard. They had the memo, the only physical proof he had. But they did not know about Sarah Caulfield, and they did not know that Webb had memorized every word of that memo. He found a payphone outside a grocery store in McLean, fed coins into the slot. Sarah Caulfield. "It is Marcus Webb." "Mr. Webb, it has only been 36 hours. I told you 48. "I know, but I do not have 48 hours. They just caught me trying to remove a document from the archive. They took my credentials. I am locked out." Pause. "Did you get anything?" "I saw it. I memorized it, but they took it from me." "Then you have nothing I can use." "There is one other thing. The original field report from Lyon. The one that documented Amara's hospitalization. It was filed through the State Department Liaison Office because it involved coordination with French authorities. Those files are not stored at Langley." They are at State Department Archive in Foggy Bottom. Can you access them? Not anymore, but someone else can. I know a woman at State. Records Division, Janet Okafor. I helped her brother get a job at the agency 3 years ago. She might help. Will she talk to me? I do not know, but she is our only chance. Silence. Give me her contact information. Webb recited it from memory. If this does not work, I know, but it is all we have. Okay, I will reach out to her today. Call me tomorrow, same time. Webb hung up. He spent that night in a motel outside Rockville, different one this time. Paid cash, did not sleep. Next afternoon, he called Caulfield from another payphone. She answered on the first ring. I have them. Webb felt something release in his chest. You got the files? Your contact came through. She pulled the Lyon field reports and let me photograph them. I have the hospital admission records. I have the coordination memos with French authorities. All of it. And you were right. Amara was in a hospital with his daughter on August 14th. Admission time 11 p.m. on the 13th. Discharge 9 a.m. on the 15th. There is no way he was in Istanbul. The assessment was either wrong or it was a lie. Webb closed his eyes. What do you need from me? I need you on the record. I need you to confirm that you were the officer who executed the operation. I need you to confirm that you were not given the hospital records, and I need you to confirm the contents of the memo you saw. If I do that, they will prosecute me. Yes, they will. Long silence. Where do you want to meet? There's a coffee shop in Arlington, Clarendon area, the Roastery, 6 p.m. tonight. Back corner, come alone. I will be there. The Roastery, 6 p.m. crowded. Office workers, students, people reading newspapers, living normal lives. Webb found Caulfield at a table in the back corner, notebook open, digital recorder on the table. He sat down across from her. She looked at him carefully. Are you ready for this? Yes. She slid the recorder toward him and pressed record. State your name for the record. Marcus Webb. Your position? I am a field operative with the Special Activities Division of the Central Intelligence Agency. How long have you held that position? 7 years. Mr. Webb, on September 29, 2007, did you conduct an operation in Lyon, France? Yes. What was the nature of that operation? Webb took a breath. I was ordered to kill a man named Khalid Amara. On what basis? On the basis that he was an operational coordinator for a terrorist network planning an attack on American infrastructure. And did you execute that order? Yes. Mr. Webb, after you executed that order, did you discover information that contradicted the intelligence assessment? Yes. I discovered that Amara had been in a hospital in Lyon on a date when the assessment claimed he was at a meeting in Istanbul with a known terrorist facilitator. That meeting was the primary evidence of his operational involvement. And what did you do with that information? I reported it to my superior officer, Gerald Coulson. And what was his response? He told me that the discrepancy did not invalidate the overall assessment. Did you later discover additional information? Yes. I found a memo from the Chief of Analysis, Thomas Birch, to Gerald Coulson. The memo confirmed that they knew about the hospitalization before the operation was authorized, and it confirmed that they made a decision to remove the Istanbul reference from the final assessment and proceed with the operation anyway. Caulfield made a note. Why are you coming forward with this information?" Webb looked down at his hands. "Because I killed a man based on intelligence that the people who gave me the order knew was flawed. And if I do not say that out loud, then I am complicit in pretending it was justified." Caulfield turned off the recorder. "That is everything I need." She started packing her things. "I am filing the story tonight." "Once it goes live, they are going to come after you. Hard. You understand that?" "I understand." She stood up. "One more thing. I made some calls today, off the record. The FBI is building a case against you. Unauthorized removal of classified material. They are going to arrest you, probably in the next 24 hours. Webb nodded slowly. "Thank you for telling me." Caulfield looked at him. "I will make sure your story gets told. That is all I can promise." "That is enough." She walked out. Webb sat alone at the table. Then he stood up and walked outside. Busy street. People walking home from work, cars passing, life continuing as if nothing had changed. Webb started walking toward his car, made it half a block. That was when he saw them. 2 men, dark suits, standing next to a black sedan parked at the curb, looking directly at him. FBI. Webb stopped walking. For a moment he considered running, just turning and running. But he knew it would not matter. They would catch him, and running would only make everything worse. One of the men stepped forward and held up a badge. "Marcus Webb?" Webb nodded. "You are under arrest for unauthorized disclosure of classified information and theft of government property." The man started reciting his rights, but Webb was not listening. He was looking past the agents at the people on the street. Some had stopped. Some were pulling out phones, recording. The second agent took Webb's arm. "Sir, put your hands behind your back." Webb looked at him. "I can walk to your car." "Sir, I need you to put your hands behind your back." "I am not resisting. I am cooperating." The agent grabbed his arm harder and started to turn him around. Webb instinctively pulled back. "Sir, do not resist." "I am not." The agent twisted Webb's arm behind his back. Pain shot through his shoulder. The second agent grabbed his other arm. They forced him against the side of the sedan, his face pressed against cold metal. "Stop resisting." "I am not resisting." They pulled his arms back and he felt handcuffs click around his wrists, too tight, metal biting into skin. They pulled him upright and opened the back door. One of the agents put his hand on top of Webb's head and pushed him down into the seat. Door slammed shut. Webb sat in the back, hands cuffed behind him, breathing hard. Through the window he could see people on the sidewalk, watching, recording. Woman with a phone held up, man with a camera. The agents got into the front seats. Engine started. As they pulled away from the curb, Webb looked out the window at the city passing by. He thought about Khalid Amara, about the park in Lyon, about the morning light through the trees, about the 2-syllable sound that had stayed with him every night since. And he thought, at least now someone will know. At least now it will not just disappear. They took him to a federal holding facility in Alexandria. Processed, fingerprinted, photographed. They took his belt, his shoelaces, his watch. They put him in a cell, 8 by 10 feet. Concrete walls, narrow bench, steel toilet. Small window near the ceiling showing a rectangle of sky. Webb sat on the bench and stared at the wall. Later, he lay down and closed his eyes. He did not sleep. Next morning, a guard came to the cell. "You have a delivery." He slid something through the slot in the door. A newspaper. Webb picked it up and unfolded it. The headline was above the fold, large, impossible to miss. CIA officer says he killed innocent man on orders based on fabricated intelligence. Below it, a photograph. The Amara family. Nadia and her 2 daughters standing in front of their house in Lyon. The same photograph Webb had seen on the news 2 years ago, but now it meant something different. He read the first paragraph. A veteran CIA operative has come forward with allegations that he was ordered to kill a French businessman based on intelligence that senior agency officials knew was flawed. Marcus Webb, 36, claims that Khalid Amara, a 41-year-old import business owner from Lyon, France, was killed in September 2007. Despite evidence that he could not have been present at a meeting, cited as proof of his involvement in terrorism. Webb stopped reading. He folded the newspaper and set it down on the bench beside him. Then he lay back down and closed his eyes. He had lost everything: his career, his freedom, his future. But the truth was out there now. It was not buried. It was not classified. It was not locked away in a file that would never be opened. It was on the front page of the Washington Post, and somewhere in Lyon, Nadia Amara would read it, and she would know that her husband had not been a terrorist, that he had been innocent, that someone had finally said it out loud. Webb lay on the narrow bench in the cold cell and felt something he had not felt in a long time. Not peace, not relief, but something close. The weight was still there. The guilt was still there. The sound Amara made was still there. But he had done the only thing he could do. He had told the truth. And whatever happened next, no one could take that away. Through the small window near the ceiling, he could see the sky. Clear. Blue. The kind of morning Khalid Amara might have enjoyed. Webb closed his eyes, and for the first time in months, he slept. The end. Marcus Webb was charged with 2 counts of unauthorized disclosure of classified information. He pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. He served 6 years and was released in 2015. Thomas Birch resigned 3 days after the story was published. He died in 2016. He was never charged. Gerald Coulson was placed on administrative leave and retired in 2017 with full pension. He was never charged. The Senate Intelligence Committee released a report in 2018 confirming systemic failures in the Amara assessment. No criminal prosecutions were recommended. Khalid Amara was posthumously cleared of all allegations in 2018. In 2021, 14 years after her father's death, Amina Amara contacted Marcus Webb to tell him that she had read every letter he had sent to her family over the years and that she did not hate him. She said, "You were the only person who tried to tell the truth." From one perspective, Marcus Webb was a traitor who violated his oath and betrayed his country. From another perspective, he was the only person in the entire system who cared more about the truth than about protecting the institution. Both perspectives are factually accurate. The tension between them is the question we must live with. When the system you serve becomes the thing you must resist, what do you do? Marcus Webb made his choice. What would yours be?